Hi, and welcome to another episode of the City of Flagstaff's Recovery Roundtable. My name is Jessica Drum. I am the Director of Public Affairs, and today I am joined by our City Manager, Greg Clifton, and our Deputy City Manager, Shannon Anderson. And today we are going to talk about the City Council's vote on Tuesday evening to move our COVID reentry plan from Phase 2 to Phase 3, and what that means and what type of information the public can expect coming out of the city in the coming weeks, and what that means for our city facilities and city operations. Thank you both for joining me. Shannon, would you like to start?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So we did meet with City Council this past Tuesday, August 18th. We went over some of the new benchmark reports that we've been seeing, not only out of Coconino County Health and Human Services, but also reviewed the new Arizona Department of Health Services dashboard for business operations. It does relate to bars, to restaurants, but for us, it impacts our recreation facilities that have indoor gyms or fitness centers. So we'll be continuing to look at these metrics and working through the Department of Health Services process in order to determine at what point we can open up some of those recreation facilities. As far as the Phase 3, we do have identified that we will have limited capacity inside of our city facilities. And so we'll be working over the next couple of weeks with the reentry plan to talk through what are going to be our highest priority services to provide in person and the staff necessary to accomplish those tasks. So we will be working over the next couple of weeks to figure that out and be communicating with our personnel as well as the community as to what they can expect.
Thanks, Shannon. And one thing I just want to place a point of emphasis on that you said that I think is really important is that this is not going to be, with the exception of some of those recreation facilities, new services that are provided. Rather, the shift to providing some of those on a limited basis in an in-person manner. So all of those typical services that you expect from the city or that you need from the city outside of the recreation centers, which have been closed, and we'll be talking about those more in detail and how the future looks for them, at least the immediate in this Phase 3. But the rest of those services have been provided online or over the phone or in a virtual fashion during our COVID-19 related shutdown.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And Greg, what else can we expect, and looking forward, the types of considerations and the types of things related to, like, I know we've talked about the site-specific plans in particular, and what kind of work has been done and what work we'll be doing.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. And thank you, Shannon, for your continued leadership in this whole reentry process. I think I'll start out, I'll get to your question about the site-specific plans, Jessica, but I want to start out by just reminding all of us that we have a very good plan in place. Mm-hmm. It was formulated months ago on the front end of the surge that happened in June. And that enabled us to deal with this pandemic, I think, in a very responsive way and in a safe way. And I think that continues. But we do have a great plan in place, and we simply will be implementing that plan, even though, as Shannon noted, there's some details yet to be fleshed out with respect to our recreational facilities. But again, and now I'll segue to the site-specific plans. Those do call out a tiered re-entry of those facilities. So the fact that we have some state mandates in place that require the closing of those facilities, I think works quite in parallel with the plan that we have in place. They would be closed anyway. Mm-hmm. And so stay tuned on those facilities. But with respect to the bulk of the other city facilities, City Hall, the library, Public Works, all the administrative offices, yes, we'll be getting into Phase 3. The reentry team is being reconvened. We start next week. We'll have 2 meetings. We're targeting a couple of weeks down the road. Today is August 20th, so probably that first week of September, in that time frame. Date yet to be determined, so stay tuned. But I think we should start preparing for that transition. Now, a couple of comments to be made. Council was very explicit when they made the decision on Tuesday night that it would be a cautious re-entry into Phase 3. That means we're going to take a couple of weeks and talk about the methodologies and so forth. Not necessarily taking our time, but being very careful so that we have all the details nailed down. It also means that once we do start reopening some of these facilities, it will be limited in hours. There will be capacity limitations and a lot of protocol in place to respect the CDC guidelines and the many measures that need to be taken to ensure the safety of our visitors and guests, but most importantly, to ensure the safety of our staff. So we will be adhering to those measures carefully. We will continue to operate remotely with our meetings for the most part. It will look a lot like it did on the front end of the pandemic when we had our buildings opened, but we were operating with skeleton staffs and most of our meetings were being conducted virtually. I think that's going to continue, certainly including the council meetings and the big staff meetings that we have. Maybe there may be smaller, more intimate meetings that are needed, but that could be had in person. I think that's largely going to be discretionary. I think those are the comments I wanted to share. Do you have any questions, either Jessica or Shannon, on the things I touched on?
I don't, Greg. I think that covered a lot of the information that I was hoping we'd be able to share with our community today, and that they can stay tuned to our social media and our website, and we'll be putting out, once there are more details that we're able to share, we'll be putting out media advisories and releases as well. So this is step one of the information sharing, and we'll be putting out a lot of additional information in the coming weeks.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. And thank you both for joining me. And you can tune in to the next episode of Recovery Roundtable next week and look for more information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.